powerful story that a friend of ours told us right before we went on the tour. She said, you know, in New Orleans, when Katrina hit and the lower Ninth Ward flooded, everything, I mean, we saw on TV what happened, right? She's like, but the one thing that stood strong was the oak tree. And the oak tree didn't fall over in abundance like everything else, because the oak tree, instead of digging its roots deep into the ground, it digs them wide and interlocks with other oak trees. And you can't bring down 2 oak trees. You can't bring down 10 or 100. And so that was really a metaphor for us. And it's like, how do we connect each other in the underground so when the winds come, we can't be knocked over? Nature is telling us what to do in a state of an emergency, you know. And if we are experiencing an era of unnatural disasters, then let's look at nature to see how it's surviving, you know. And so it was a real powerful story for us.
Where are oak trees at? We got oak trees here.
We got some oak trees up in the house.
Time to connect.
Yeah.
Cancer Alley is the valley of the shadow of death. New Orleans to Baton Rouge is the fossil fuel stretch. Those born by the river have been running ever since. Gas refineries and factories line their backyards like a fence. Oil and water don't mix. So when Katrina hit, it was like a turf war between the Bloods and the Crips. The storm surges unleashed more than 40 oil spills. Ruptured pipelines from refineries and petrochemicals spread across the fragile wetlands and the homes where people lived. The stranded were disproportionately poor, black, young, elderly, and sick, and didn't have private transportation to escape the floods and winds, which means they didn't even use the gas from the battered oil rigs that brewed the toxic gumbo that seeped into their skin, nor contribute to emissions that made Katrina spin, but bear the brunt of the suffering of the trouble we're all in. And we in trouble, friends. The storm clouds are coming in, and I can hear the rumbling of an earthquake as ancient as the humming of whales long extinct, whose songs still echo in our midst. We're standing on the brink of a cataclysmic shift. I can feel the static of lightning in the nighttime when the moon is growing thin. I can feel the blooming of atom bombs that makes tsunamis like a butterfly flapping its wings on the other side of the world. Is a tornado in Brooklyn, a storm in Jamaica, torrential rain in Haiti, a typhoon in Vietnam, a monsoon in Korea, a landslide in India, a fire in San Diego, massive flooding in China, a mudslide in Chiapas, tidal wave in Indonesia, acid rain in Hiroshima. It's been snowing in the desert, y'all. Something is wrong here. The rivers don't run like they used to. How far removed from the source of life have we moved to? How long can we live in climate-controlled cubicles while the weather gets deadlier for those left to brave the cold and heat? No clean water left to drink where there's not enough to eat. Epic drought and toxic streams spreading fires and disease. Rising tides, mudslides and freeze. Melting ice caps, flooded streets. We watch the Weather Channel on TV. Stockpile canned goods in SUVs. Stay calm. This is an emergency. I'd tell you if I knew, but the future hasn't said a word to me. She's angry that her children won't be born debt-free. Destiny said man-made curses are her worst pet peeve. There's no fresh air to breathe in our communities. Working class, black and brown folk, we always found ourselves downstream from fertilizers and manure. And if your neighborhood is poor, they build the factories, dumps, and chemical plants next door. And inner city public housing is full of lead, like a bullet in slow motion aiming for your head. Imagine waking every morning to acrid fumes in your living room, the windows rattling, stench of diesel trash and rotten food. Hunts Point, South Bronx, 350 trash trucks daily roll on through. Imagine you're a Chicano farm worker picking 5 tons of tomatoes to make a buck. Direct exposure to pesticides like direct exposure to the sun. Every day it infiltrates your pores, poisoning your blood. Imagine after 500 years of attempted genocide, your tribe is still fighting for its life. Your livelihood
stood is undermined
as coal mines and Walmarts replace your sacred sites. Imagine you're a federal prisoner. For 36 cents an hour you get paid to extract the precious metals from electronics gone to waste. 100,000 computers are obsolete in this country every day, brought to a toxic sweatshop
in a prison
in the US of A. Colombia's Sierra Nevada indígenas say they are the caretakers of the earth's heart and have been noticing her slowing down rate. We clogging her arteries
while we clogging our own. The average of 50 burgers eaten by Americans each year
is equivalent to 6.5 million SUVs on the road. A generation is dying
secondhand smoke,
while 7 football fields of the Amazon are daily bulldozed. The lungs of the world got a cancer spreading
through human hands,
while whole species go extinct every 20 minutes to make more room for man-made plans. From Pakistan to the Niger Delta,
water sources are damned.
Acid rain falls from the sky to quench the thirst.
We try to hide behind Coca-Cola and Absolute,
while they privatize our water.
Monsanto's patenting our genes.
Now it's illegal to save seeds. Better hide forbidden fruit. There's a barcode on the garden. Genetically modified trees are taking root. And we wonder
why cancer takes 1
in 3 when our soil has swallowed all that we pollute.
We're moving
full speed ahead
towards a slow, painful death.
Too afraid to look where we're headed, so we ignore it. The courageous don't lose their fear. They simply transform it into the power
to steer into the clearing
and head straight for it. Follow the course of rivers hidden under concrete. Beneath every city lives a forest. It's time to awaken from hibernation. We can't afford to wait. The rich can buy some time. The hardest hit remain the poorest. But we're all drowning
one by one
in the fossilized sun that humans hoarded to fuel cars, to drive to malls, to buy up happiness distorted. Put it on credit
like the budget deficit.
We're all borrowing from plastic, which is also made from oil. Endure the debt
the day when there is only famine
and imbalance, and our children can't remember life before it. When the souls of future generations ask, what came of humans? And angels answer, what God created, they destroyed it. Unless we wake up now, generations
of unknown souls
will bear the sharp edge of closed eyes who chose to sleep through the darkest hour. Here in this place we call home,
unborn mothers
will grow sterile in the womb before giving birth to thieves and prophets. If the rising of the sun does not coerce our hidden bodies to manifest solutions
outside
their Oval Office,
humanity's ego trip
has led us into the devil's lobby.
Shortchanged or desperate,
we can't afford
to sell our souls'
last breath for a bag of nickels and dirty money. The wind is holding secrets. The oak tree always reminds me of the power of our people
when we choose
to no longer be divided. In the face of the impossible, it's time for us to move like water, infinite
like the oceans,
with the strength and direction of 1,000 rivers, carving routes to freedom unafraid. When water's trapped, she finds a way. It's time for us to surface from below the ground,
swallowing
the light of day, a seed fed by sunbeams pulled from the darkness, seduced by morning's grace. We are the oak tree, held inside the shell. We are the bark, the fire fed. And if you split us open and set our souls aflame, we will give you back the sun.
Watch darkness flee
and birth the dawn of a new day.